Good Morning Night Vale is brought to you by The Disappearances of Lydia Fontaine, a new independently produced and crowdfunded 10-episode original audio drama. Set in a deceptively familiar world of electronic surveillance and machine-mediated communication, The Disappearances of Lydia Fontaine follows Lydia Ryan and her friends, lovelorn Ethan and wannabe internet sensation Dee, as they struggle to unravel the mystery of her mother's disappearance. Escape the sinister Fontaine family, and survive the feud over her grandfather's supernatural legacy. It weaves bitter family drama and high-stakes intrigue with fantasy and cyberpunk elements to create a surreal mystery about secrets and grudges, old books, big data, and the promise of infinite knowledge. And do not forget the talking birds. It's a full-cast production with original music and a bespoke soundscape presented through a series of found-footage-style surveillance recordings. And it's important to note, this show was made entirely without generative AI. Even the computers are voiced by human actors. Episodes are free, and you can start listening right now with the Season 1 finale due to come out on August 16th. For more information, go to lydiadisappears.com. and find The Disappearances of Lydia Fontaine wherever you get your podcasts and start listening from the beginning.
Insurance isn't one size fits all, and shopping for it shouldn't feel like squeezing into something that just doesn't fit. That's why drivers have enjoyed Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years. With the Name Your Price tool, you tell them what you want to pay, and they show you options that fit your budget. Enough hunting for discounts, trying to calculate rates, and tinkering with coverages. Maybe you're picking out your very first policy, or maybe you're just looking for something that works better for you and your family. Either way, they make it simple to see your options. No guesswork, no surprises. Ready to see how easy and fun shopping for car insurance can be? Visit Progressive.com and give the Name Your Price tool a try. Take the stress out of shopping and find coverage that fits your life, on your terms. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
This is not your home. This is my prison.
Wash your hands before you touch me.
Good morning, Night Vale.
Good morning. It's me, Meg, and Hal is not here because Hal is in London, England.
London, England. And hi, it's me. It's me, Symphony. And we are talking about, Night Vale because we love it. And we go every episode, as you know, painstakingly through each and every episode for journalism, for what is right, and for entertainment because we are cast members, friends, fans of the pod. And we are recording on Wednesday, November 5th at 1:28 p.m. Central Time, which this is an early one. It's daytime. This is the most awake I've ever been for an episode.
We're so refreshed and ready.
Yeah.
We're just daytime ladies. But Hal is absent this week because he's doing thrilling adventure hour shows across the pond. So those of you who got out there to enjoy it, enjoy it. Today's also Lydia Bashwiner's birthday in our time.
Happy birthday. And pip pip cheerio to you.
She had a much happier birthday this year than she did last year. So we're feeling good about it.
Wait, what happened last year?
The bad thing happened last year on November 5th.
Oh, right.
Yes.
I forget about that. I've blocked it out of my memory. Maybe that's it.
Mm-hmm.
But I will drop a message to Mama Bash. So this was episode 195, Silas the Thief, part 1.
Yeah, the episode description of that was the prisoner reveals his secrets. Donna!
Let's talk about it.
This episode came out October 15th of 2021, and it blew the doors off of the fandom. They didn't know they could still do that.
Crazy.
10 years in, but oh boy, could they.
I was like, I think I figured out what was going on about halfway through. Well, because I was like, okay, the way he was describing it. Also, it's always interesting to have another person who's not Cecil. I've said this, and I'll say it again. and I'll do it again. But it's always interesting when someone else is there because you're like, wait, am I listening to the right thing? Is this an ad? Like, what's going on? But great job. And I actually love this backstory. Spoilers, if you haven't listened to the episode.
Spoilers, Khoshek, the cat there's a man inside of him and he's an art thief.
Named Silas. But I love this. I love when there's like a trapped inside sort of story, like that's happened on like, what's that show with Hugh Laurie? He's a doctor.
House.
Yep. There was one of those, and I think it was not Q-Tip, but like one of like a rap artist guy, but he was pretending he was like trapped. He was trapped inside, and but he had an inner monologue. So this is cool. This is Khoshek's inner monologue. I also love getting a backstory on a character that we were like, oh, you just accepted that he's a cat floating in the bathroom.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the backstory is cool.
Very cool. The witch ex-girlfriend.
Sandrine.
Sandrine. And the twist of Mino, the twist at the end about Mino, like Sandrine being Mino, and the whole time that he thought he was being the one to like be doing something, he wasn't.
No.
He wasn't.
Men think they run the world, but they don't.
They don't. Although some men run some things.
Well, they think they are, but in fact, they're relying on the labor
True.
of women in order for it to exist.
No, absolutely that part. Absolutely that part.
What did they, in My Big Fat Greek Wedding, the man is the head of the household, but the woman is the neck.
Yes. I love that. Well, I guess, it's appropriate that we're doing this episode today because it's ladies' night. Ladies' afternoon.
It's ladies' day.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the feelings, okay.
The feelings are right. It's a good, we woke up in a better place this morning, I think.
Yes.
We're a slightly better place. We were just talking before we started recording about how it's not a great place we don't live in great cities right now.
Right.
As far as occupations are concerned.
Ooky spooky times.
That's obviously still waking up to that, which sucks.
Yeah.
But with a little bit of hope in our bitter coffee this morning.
Yeah. Makes me want a bacon, egg, and cheese real bad,
Well, and me being a New Jersey person, it makes me want a Taylor ham, egg, and cheese real bad. So.
True story. But yeah, so it was pretty cool, like learning about this character on a deeper level, and that there is a deeper level to Khoshek. I don't know what your mind canon. Have we talked about our mind canons of what Khoshek looks like?
We might have, but you know what? It's always a good time to do it again.
Yeah, I do imagine Khoshek as an all-black cat, but I do imagine cat features. Like you'd be like, oh, that's a cat? You'd look at it like ears and like similar facial structures, but there's just something off about it. I think maybe the hair is like the hackles are always raised and maybe somehow kind of spiny. I do imagine fur, very sharp fur.
I imagine a all-black cat, like a Persian, like very fluffy.
Okay.
And like the very fluffiness of the hair comes to spikes, like it's sort of like styled that way.
Okay, work.
But I imagine Khoshek is cuddly, even though we do get a lot of the descriptors that Khoshek has, caudal spines and spiky things and venoms and teeths and numbers of eyes. I still imagine him to just be like a very cuddly, but yet moody, large black cat.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I like that. Well, however you think of your Khoshek in your mind canon, just know on the inside, he doesn't like when you touch him. He doesn't like when Cecil touches him, I believe.
Especially his legs. Yeah.
Right. Well, some animals are weird about their beans being touched. Mm-hmm. But I like when you can grab their foot and kind of like push on the one and it spreads their little toe beans out. That's the stuff right there. Cat people, shout out. You know what I'm talking about.
They know. Yeah. My question, I have not listened to the second part, so I don't know if this gets answered or what, but my my question is has Khoshek always been a vessel for witchcraft punishment, and Silas is just its current inhabitant? And like, are there times when Khoshek's just a cat, or are there times when like another person is being punished into the cat, or is like has Silas always been inside of Khoshek, or is this a new thing?
Yeah, I do wonder how long, it's not answered like exactly how long this has happened. It's been since this has happened, but like she zaps him or whatever after he spits at her. He spits like in her face, dude.
Yeah.
And on her mouth. And I'm like, oh, you gave her bodily fluids. Of course, that's in the spell. You dummy. She does witchcraft. Don't give people your hair, your spit, your nails, none of that. Keep your cells to yourself because they transmute that. So they use that stuff to transmute you. Anyways, that's why I'm going to be cremated. No one can use me for witchcraft. Can't use my bones. And then she's like, that's what I needed. And like zaps him or whatever. And into the water, I guess. But like, I think that was just like a portal. Or in my mind, I was just imagining it as a portal into like to transmute him. Number one, into the cat, but also to Night Vale. Because they were in New York.
They were in the Hamptons, right? They were in Montauk, yeah.
Yeah, Montauk, yeah. They were in Montauk. So there's no Night Vale's not over there. It's in the desert. There ain't no desert in Montauk, near Montauk. So
there's sand, though.
There is sand. Well, unless Night Vale is some microcosm in the sands of Montauk, I don't think so. I think in my brain, she zapped him and he flew into the water. I'm doing quotation marks. Into the water. And it like was a portal, really. Like just zapped him through that into Night Vale, into this body. I don't think I don't think anybody else was in there. Like maybe it is. Maybe that's why he has multiple eyes, because but do you know what I mean?
And a number of inhabitants. Yeah. I mean, the port making sense. It goes into the ocean and it comes out of a bathroom into a cat. Seems, we're all connected through the water, right? It all flows to the ocean.
Yeah. Well, and then he's just like floating in the bathroom, 4 feet off the ground or whatever. So, or maybe it just like sent him into another dimension, and maybe the cat was already there.
Yeah.
And was just a cat floating there or whatever, for whatever reason, because that's not explained. But maybe we'll find out more in part 2 also.
Yeah, that's why we got to listen to part 2. We're just on knife's edge here until we figure out if some of these questions are answered.
But this will be fun when we get back to it, so that we can be like, oh, my thing was totally off.
Yeah. So, or maybe we were 100 right. Who knows? We'll see. That's what's so great about a part 2 that aired 4 years ago is that it's there for us to just go grab. Jeffrey wrote this episode, no surprise, because it's got some Jeffrey, the touches of Jeffrey, which are cats. Cats and art.
That's something Jeffrey and I share in common, our love of cats. I think cats are wonderful and fascinating, and you do wonder what their inner world is like, because sometimes the fickleness of their love, sometimes, or what can seem as fickleness, can be confusing for a lot of people. And to hear what Silas was saying was pretty interesting to me, that he was just like, because he would be like, oh, I'm actually really glad you're here type. Do you know what I mean? He was thankful, and I think kind of loved Cecil. And then when Cecil tried to leave, he was like, oh, you're going to leave? Oh, okay, bye. Type thing. He was sad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that our pets do get sad when we leave.
Right?
They're our familiars. They like to be near us.
And they don't know what time is.
They don't know what time is. No. They only know how to nap in a sunbeam until you get back.
Right. But does he nap in a sunbeam? Is there a sunbeam? I hope there's one window in there that, like, at one point of the day graces his body, his floating body.
Yeah.
That would make me happy. You know what? That's in my mind canon now. I also love art. I am a longstanding member at the Art Institute, not just for the member lounge, which is quite nice. And they make a mean espresso martini, but because I do love art, and especially Impressionist painting. So when they were talking about Van Gogh and Cezanne and Degas' creepy ass. But, I find that stuff so interesting. So it was cool. And there was actually a couple artists I was like, I don't think I know them. So I'm going to go look them up after this. See if I can see some of their work somewhere.
Yeah, Jeffrey talks about in the director's notes for this episode that Night Vale doesn't have an answer. There is no solution to all of this puzzle, but sometimes when writing it, you can go and fill in some, have some fun filling in some answers to things or, possible versions of stuff. So I think that's neat. And then it is so brilliantly portrayed by Johnny Atkinson, the voice of Silas, like all the different pronunciations. He just every little word, every word has its appropriate flourish and touch. And it is it is very polished. And I think that's just found it to be a great performance.
Absolutely. I was also picturing what I thought Silas looked like in my head based on the way he sounded and just what I imagine a cat burglar, which I also find he's like an art thief, but I'm like, ooh, cat burglar. I couldn't stop thinking about it. Mm-hmm. I'm just imagining what that person looks like in my head. And I'm pretty sure they have brown hair and are relatively slim, about 5'9", limber, and unassuming, I think, as a person. Mm-hmm. But yeah, someone you wouldn't notice necessarily.
Yeah. It's interesting that we're listening to this episode now and they've just had the Louvre heist.
I know. I think they caught two dudes. They caught a couple people and they're hot.
Yeah, using some DNA, which guys, don't be giving your DNA. Because all you're going to find out is that you have a different dad than you thought you did, or you have a long-lost sibling, or you're going to narc on a Louvre art thief. So don't be getting that DNA tested.
Or they're going to do witchcraft on you.
Yes, because they have your spit. So don't be... It's such a bummer that the DNA testing, they just sell your data or just give your data to law enforcement agencies.
Absolutely.
Come on, guys, be cool. Be cool.
Also, what?
No one's cool.
Nobody wants to work anymore. You're just basically scamming up on my DNA. You didn't figure that out. You didn't compare my fingerprints on a cup to some fingerprints in the system. You just went on fucking 23andMe and were like, oh, this matches or whatever.
It's French, so it's 23 et moi.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just feel like detectiving used to be cooler, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we used to have a goddamn union in this country, but no.
Whatever happened to Poirot? Am I right?
Hercule Poirot, whatever.
Yes.
I mean, he was fictional, which is the issue there.
Well, I'm sure there was some other cool French detective being like, ah oui, it's a mystère. C'est un mystère.
C'est un mystère. One of my favorite things that I learned recently, while we're on the topic of the French language, is Chat GPT. When you say that in French, you're saying cat, I farted.
Wait. Chat GPT.
Yeah. Chat GPT. It's just cat, I farted.
I love it. And not wrong.
Not wrong. But yeah, so cool episode.
AI is ruining everything.
Yeah, but we can make jokes about it. The human-made jokes about AI fucking slap. So
woo! Punching up or down. Nope, we're punching up.
Yeah, we're punching at the robots.
We'll defeat Skynet one of these days,
I bet that. I mean, I'm at least 95% sure that AI has definitely used our voices to train their voice models. So if you hear something that sounds like me, if you ask the chatbot to talk about colon hydrotherapy, I bet you'll find some familiar sounding expressions and voices in there.
Yeah.
I keep seeing ads on LinkedIn. They're like, oh, jobs hiring for voice work to train the AI, $60 an hour. I'm like, okay, I'm going to pay $60 an hour. You're going to hire me for 2 hours and then I'll never fucking work again because you replaced me with my own damn voice. Fuck you.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
Anyway, don't do it, guys.
For 120, for like not even that much money. I'm like, that's not even my rate.
Yeah, it's bad enough he stole my book. Stole all of our books to write stuff.
Bitch stole my gig.
I'm glad I poured my heart out in a book with my words that I worked really hard on to share with people so that we could have some sort of human connection here. And you just robbed it from me so that you can, teach fucking no one anything and have college kids use my pain to write their English papers.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm mad about it. I'm mad about the AI.
And get AI psychosis or whatever.
Yes, and get AI psychosis. Just get regular psychosis, guys. It's more organic.
It's way cooler.
Yeah.
It's way cooler.
I got about 100 more fun ways to rot your brain that aren't.
Oh, one thing we haven't talked about is, which we always talk about on this podcast, food.
Yes.
That was brought up in this episode, mainly wines and boozes, which is also a Jeffrey thing. Jeffrey likes, he likes wine, but he's a booze.
He likes the booze.
He's a booze man.
Mm-hmm.
He's a booze man. I have never had an $1,800 bottle of anything, I don't think.
Probably like prescription medicine, right? Like most expensive drug I imbibed.
Insulin.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but no, I don't think I've ever had anything that expensive. I've had like a $500 bottle of like champagne and or wine or something, which is still, to me, I'm like, that's a lot, and it was shared between people. And someone else paid.
I can taste the difference between a $10 bottle of wine and a $25 bottle of wine.
Sure.
I can taste the difference between a $25 bottle of wine and a $100 bottle of wine. Past that, nope.
No, honestly, I feel like there's a point where you're like, oh, this is just for like the prestige of the thing. No? Like,
yeah, I once at a friend's house had aged, like a really nice aged bottle of wine. And Joseph had a glass of it. And I just took a sip of it. And it tasted like Band-Aids, guys. Tasted like Band-Aids. So, I don't know. Listen, not to say that wine is a scam. I think there's a lot of craft that goes into it. And I think
for sure,
the collecting of wine is interesting. I think that the whole wine industry and the farming, and I think that's all really, really cool and interesting.
Very
so
cool.
I think it's great. But as far as for my peasant palate goes, I don't know.
Well, and also there's a bit of a gamble that happens there. Like you could buy a bottle and you're like, oh, this is like, and even if you kept it, it could be bad. It could be bad on the inside and you wouldn't know until you fucking opened it. Like that's just the reality of the thing. And you hope it'll mature and like be better and like whatever, but like, I don't know. And yeah, maybe my palate isn't as refined as it should be. But babe, I like a fermented grape. And if it tastes good to me, it tastes good to me. If it tastes like socks, it tastes like socks.
Mm-hmm.
That's real. So
if it tastes like dead flowers because it's been corked. You're like,
truly. But yeah, I'll do anything from an expensive bottle down to something I would get from Trader Joe's. Not $2 chuck, but you know what I mean. Like a nice,
you could trade
$7.99. I day trade.
Yeah,
I'll day trade at the Traderius.
That's my job. I'm a day trader. I spend a lot of time day trading. I was there yesterday.
Wait, did you hear about the recall? There's a Trader Joe thing.
There's another one. There was the pasta one, the frozen pasta one.
It was the pasta.
We think we talked about this. Like maybe I talked about this on some podcast. It could have been this one where it's like
the Alfredo.
Yeah, like people straight up died. I don't know if they necessarily died from the Trader Joe's one because it like all comes from a big
right
plant that produces. But it's like I think it was like 6 people died.
Yeah,
can you imagine fucking death by Alfredo?
That fucking is embarrassing and sucks because you're like, oh,
what a way to go!
Like, why do I feel like shit? It was like, oh, is the fucking frozen pasta Alfredo? How rude! That's a disrespectful way to end it. You know, like what the hell?
Just what a way to go. your one wild and unique life. And you were like, this for Alfredo. Let's get pasta Alfredo from Trader. It sounds like a great night. And then the next thing you know, you fucking did.
Yeah. Yeah. Girl, I was like, thoughts and prayers. R.I.P. to the... No, I feel terrible for their families. So I hope they...
I feel terrible for families, and like, I just want to make sure that we're holding people accountable who...
Absolutely.
Yeah. That...
Well, and I wonder if it's also like because of the reduction in friggin' like regulations and
no one's
USDA
inspecting.
people and like all that shit, like inspectors for fucking our food, dude, like our food. And then they don't want to even post it online.
Yeah. Well, the whole system, it's toxic clear down right to the bottom.
Yep. So anyway.
But it looks like Silas and Sandron
are also toxic.
They're also toxic, but they've had a nice meal here or there.
They have.
They had some tasting menus.
And we've had some tasting menus, Meg. We've
tasted the menu.
We've tasted many a menu. And honestly, sometimes I feel like it's made me jaded. Like, in a way.
How so?
Like, I love food, but then sometimes I'll be like, oh, I know this meal costs like $200, whatever. And I'm like, no, that's good. Like, and I feel like it's harder to impress me with food. Like, either the presentation needs to be like amazing and the flavors are surprising and exciting or whatever. Because sometimes you're just like, okay, like that, I've seen that done before or like whatever. But like, also, can you just enjoy how it's done there? I don't know. I'm going through food crisis lately, I think.
I'm also a bit, not so much jaded, but like I see what you mean there, because I feel like there's people who are out there really doing it in the food world and in the fine dining world. They're really doing it. And then there's people who are aping that. Right. And they are just taking the expensive part of it and some of the presentation of it, and like that's kind of it. They don't see the whole picture. But when you go to a place that is doing something where you're seeing the whole picture, where you're seeing the incredible service, the incredible knowledge, the ingredients, the training, the craft, the like all of it coming together, where like you go to like a place like Blue Hill at Stone Barns, where they're literally changing the way that food is grown to better serve the taste of the food and then also the environment. So like there's less waste in the food, or food that can be used in a different way. So like the training that the chefs have there, and then the gorgeousness of the dining room, the service from top to bottom, how much everyone knows about everything there. And yeah, like there's just like a place like that. You're like, okay, you're walking the walk. You're worth it. Like, I see how like every dollar of this feels worth it, because I see where it's going. I see it's going to the education. I see it's going to the craft. I see it's going to the ingredient. I see it's going to really like beautiful spaces. And then sometimes you go to a place and you're like, okay, you're trying to make a dish like Blue Hill, but it doesn't have the ingredients, and you have no knowledge behind why you're doing what you're doing.
It's like missing the soul.
Yeah.
Or something. Do you know, it's missing like the energy that comes from true like thought and passion for the cuisine or the ingredients or whatever. And there's a few restaurants that I'm like, oh, I love this. They're really doing it. Like I've also really enjoyed, like I always go back to Dirt Candy in New York. That is like one of my favorite places. And she's always pushing the boundary of what a vegetable could do. And I find that so exciting. So, I just feel like there's a lot out there. And especially when you're traveling somewhere, finding what, like, you're like, oh, I want to go to a nice restaurant or whatever. And if you're willing to spend a little bit more money, sometimes you just expect it to be like a wow experience. And like, it's mid, it can be disappointing.
It feels like a bait and switch.
Right.
Where you're like, oh.
But occasionally you do get like surprised by something, or you come across a restaurant that you'll remember, and it becomes an iconic experience. And that is what I like about fine dining. That is what I like about going out to any sort of tasting menu. But I mean, believe me, I also have sat on the corner, on the curb in Louisiana, eating a sandwich that I got at a counter. In the back of a grocery store, or in a diner somewhere, or in a place, a greasy spoon. So I can appreciate food of all levels. But I just feel like sometimes, especially in fine dining, you want something to be like really special.
Yeah, it's not to say that there isn't the same amount of craft and technique and ingredient sourcing and on a taco truck. Like, it really is
absolutely
something that, you know, there's good food to be had everywhere. Unfortunately, we now live in a place where people don't believe that people should have access to food. So, and not, you know,
it's a damn shame. It's a damn shame. Because everyone,
food is a right.
Food is a right. Everyone deserves to have food. Sorry.
Everyone deserves to have food, and we should
No, I'm not sorry.
No, we should be providing it for them because we have the resources for it. We have the resource for it tenfold. We also, so much of this country has subsidized farming. Like, our taxpayer dollars go to subsidize corn and soy and dairy. And
that is going to waste.
Yeah, we're all paying for that. So we should, on the other side, be able to take that and, you know, if we're paying for food to be made, then everyone should be able to have food if they need it. So I don't know, guys. It's a bummer of a time. So donate to your local food banks.
Yeah.
Money is, if you have money right now to donate to a local food bank, money is the best thing to give. In the absence of that, you can also give non-perishable products. Find a local mutual aid organization.
Take care of your community.
Take care of your community for sure. And if anyone out there is struggling to access food right now, send us an email and we will do what we can to help you out. Cool.
We love you.
Anyway, we're like talking about fine dining and like but that's the thing. That's the thing about food is that it's the commodification of it is just, the food is such a beautiful thing that we share. It's how we nourish our bodies. It's how we come together. It's how we take care of each other. And that's something that is ingrained in humanity is sharing resources, and what that looks like at, you know, like a super fine dining level, and what that looks like at just like a base level of like, let's just make sure that people have access to food.
Absolutely. And people know how important, if you've listened to our podcast for more than like 2 episodes, you know how important food is to us as people. So I think you would understand why we feel so strongly about these things. Up next, we hear from fans and friends of the podcast, but first, a conversation about this episode's weather. This episode's weather was Drink from the Well by Stoy Schnock.
Stoy Snack.
Snock?
Or is it? It's actually, it's snack. So Stoy Snack in Danish is sound snack. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Stoy Snack. Love the name. Very cool. And also the energy that came out, because, you know, it was like this kind of like mystery-y, like heisty sort of situation. And then we go into this like punk folk sounding music, driving song. And I don't know, I loved it. His voice was giving like slightly rough, like a little like Jason Webley-ish, but like almost a little softer than that, but like the gruffness of his voice. But I enjoyed it very much.
Stoy Snack is a screamer songwriter quartet from Denmark. They're based out of Aalborg, Denmark.
Cool.
And they are self-described as playing a funky brand of troubadour punk infused with plenty of raw energy and melodic catchiness. They also describe themselves as a Molotov cocktail of indignation, potent washboard, and melodic tenderness fueled by rebellion and an idealistic faith in a better future. So
obsessed.
Cool.
Bitch, obsessed. I love it. Yeah, I like that. And I would listen to it again.
They also have released 2 full-length records, 8 EPs, and 3 video game soundtracks. So,
whoa.
Go out there and get your snock. Yeah, cool. I'm glad that there are weather. They seem neat.
Yeah. I could use a snock right now.
I could use a snock. And what better snock than, of course, would be a bread with food inside of it.
Mm.
Let's go.
Lately, I've been all over the place. Between touring, dog sitting, and traveling, my routine has become non-existent. Now that my travel schedule has slowed down, I need to get back to eating real food and not just grabbing what I can when I can. And Factor is making that easier for me. Factor meals are ready in 2 minutes and require little to no prep and no cleanup. So even on the days when my schedule is completely out of whack, eating well is still achievable. Like today, I had 3 meetings and a client. By the time I was done, I was hungry and I just needed to eat. So I grabbed the Beurre Blanc filet mignon with Parmesan risotto, and it was delicious. I was amazed at how tender it was and how flavorful the risotto was, and saved me from having to pick something up quick. And in 2 minutes, I had something healthy, fresh, and delicious. So if you like fast, easy, and delicious meals, I think you would like Factor Meals too. Let's eat real. Head to factormeals.com/GMNV50OFF and use code GMNV50 off to get 50% off and 1 free breakfast item per box for 1 year, while supplies last until 10/31/2026. That's code GMNV50OFF at factormeals.com. GMNV50 off at factormeals.com. See website for more details.
This episode is brought to you by Accenture. When your advertising operations fall out of sync, everything else follows. Spotify and Accenture are working together to reinvent the rhythm of ad sales, using automation, analytics, and smarter workflows to simplify campaign delivery and access better data across the business. The result? Less time spent on operations, more time connecting brands with the moments and fandoms that matter most. Learn more at accenture.com/Spotify.
The fan zone. First up in the FanZone Calzone, we hear from Beth. Beth says, "Greetings, most esteemed tri-hosts. This is Beth, mother of Alice, writing in for the second time. She wrote a while back and at the time was your youngest fan in the FanZone Calzone at 9 years old. By the time you read this, she should be 12. My, how time sure flies, but I digress. I'm writing concerning the series of episodes about Silas. I remember listening to these when they first came out and being floored at the big reveal, cementing these episodes as some of my favorites in the whole of the Night Vale universe. Since then, I've read all of your guys' books and have a headcanon concerning Joseph Fink's book, The Halloween Moon. No spoilers for those who haven't read it, as it happens in the first 3 pages of the book. But I like to think that Silas and Sandrine have totally been visitors and possibly even contributed to Jamie's Bennington Museum of the Unusual and Rare. As soon as I started the book, my mind instantly went to Silas and his story. For those who haven't read the book and don't know what I'm talking about, go read it. It's amazing. I also can't help but think of Cecil starring as Dan Apple in the movie that plays in my mind as I read. If I ever got to make that movie, I would absolutely cast him in that role. I didn't get to mention it before, but Night Vale has a special place in my heart. I know y'all hear it all the time, but living in a small desert community myself, my town very much reminds me of Night Vale. Every time I pass our Arby's, I look up to see if I can see the blinking lights above it. I had an old friend who once told me, if you haven't seen weird shit in the sky, you don't look up enough. I feel like those are words to live by. To close out, I just wanted to share that the last time I wrote in, Joseph was sitting in for Hal. We asked for a recipe as Alice was learning how to cook, and Joseph was kind enough to share his mom's recipe for pizza sauce. We wrote it down, and I'm happy to report that we use Mother Fink's pizza sauce in our homemade calzones that we make at least twice a month. So I feel like we've really come full circle. Once again, thank you for everything you do. Everyone who works on Welcome to Night Vale and Good Morning Night Vale are such gems and contribute so much to so many people. Congratulations on everything you've accomplished, and I hope things just keep getting better for all of you. Hopefully we get to see you on tour in January. With all my best and lots of love, Beth and Alice.
Aww. Aww.
Alice, you're growing up. Beth, thank you so much for writing in. I'm so happy to hear that the recipe translated over the podcast airwaves and that you're able to use it in your calzones and that you enjoyed the Halloween moon. I also think that Cecil would be a really good Dan Apple.
Yes, absolutely. And I hope to see you and Alice at the January shows. Fingers crossed. Up next, we have Jessie. Jessie writes, I'd like to say how brilliant I thought a couple of bits in this series are. First, Silas the Thief. I started listening to Night Vale by listening to random episodes. I landed on the episode while going to Northern Illinois from Southeast Wisconsin on a trip to get some herbs from the sunny side part of the state. Symphony should know. And I do. It was the first episode I heard that didn't feature Cecil, so my interest was already piqued. Also, I totally thought it was David Cross, and I was like, they must be doing well. I remember exactly where I was on the freeway when the twist was revealed. It hit like a ton of bricks, and I thought it was such a great ending. It timed almost exactly with when I got to the dispensary, so I couldn't wait for the trip back to hear it a second time. And when there was a part 2, I couldn't have been more elated. I listened to them both on the way back. Once home, I created a playlist of all the Khoshek episodes because I picked up that there were threads of older stories in other episodes and wanted to hear the whole story of Cecil's cat in one collection. It's one of my favorite storylines of any media ever, so thank you to all involved. Secondly, the writing and reading of Doug Biondi's journal in the Bravo episode filled me with odd nostalgia. My mom has schizoaffective disorder. The words and delivery remind me of some of the things she would write. And the delivery was not patronizing or hammy and spoke to how good Cecil's instincts as an actor are. He read it with the passion and truth of a character without winking to the audience that Doug was crazy. The journal was the truth as Doug saw it, and Cecil really did a good job with the delivery. The writing was also done with the same level of truth and respect without winking. It didn't contain any of the stereotypes of a crazy person writing a manifesto. It was just the truth as Doug saw it. It just was. And that brings me to the Mind Canon portion of the fan email. I think that Night Vale and things in Night Vale just are until they're not. Growing up trying to make sense of a nonsensical illness in someone close to me, I've learned that two opposing things can be true at the same time. And it's very much a matter of perspective and style. While I don't think Cecil is schizophrenic, he is an unreliable narrator with a penchant for the dramatic flourish. The angels may not be angels, but in Cecil's mind, they're very angelic. And maybe he thinks that all of them being named Erica is funny, so that's how he reports it. Another example of this would be the cat show. I'm sure it was chaotic and nuts, but Cecil interpreted and reported it as he did because it was how he saw it. Much like a small child would tell a wild story about an incident at school. Think Ralph Wiggum describing seeing Principal Skinner and Miss Crabapple making out in the closet. Then things happen like the University of What It Is. In explaining, they take away the magic and whimsy. Cecil's tone on those is top-notch as well. There's a resigned acceptance that isn't reluctant or bitter. It's just how things are now, only less interesting and magical. So, while Hiram McDaniels could have been a literal 5-headed dragon, he could have just as well been a powerful family with 5 members and distinct personalities whose patriarch was named Hiram. The family was close and acted as a unit. Instead of trying to keep track of 5 people, it's easier and more fun to think of them as one entity and describe them as such. Cecil, being mostly a sole narrator, has great creative license to craft his narrative as he sees fit. It doesn't mean things aren't true, just maybe not what most people would see as the truth, until there's no way around it. Then he accepts it as such and moves on, albeit with a bit of sadness that the magic is gone. Lastly, the journey of listening to Good Morning Night Vale to catch up to the current episodes has been great. I got to remember a pre-pandemic world, hear about how others went about their quarantine, and then commiserate about it, the aftermath. I got confused at first when you'd make mention of the before times, not knowing how long your show had been running. I figured out the timeline when you talked about COVID and it all hit me. I really started appreciating your timestamps at the beginning of the episodes, especially after I decided to reach out about Silas the Thief. it helped me hopefully time it just right to be near when you guys would be listening to it for the show. Thank you for all you do. It's great to hear people talk shop about performing. This week's episode is the October monologues, and I'm Gary Choi. And your comments on current events as they are happening, not from 3 years in the future. Delay, defend, depose. Jesse. Wow. Jesse, thank you so much. I love your mind canon, and I think it could totally be true. I don't know because, you know, but I love this. And yes, I love that about Night Vale, that things just are until they're not. And you just accept it. And I love that whole suspension of disbelief. Like maybe something would be weird here, but they just accept how life is there. And I find that wonderful.
Next up, we hear from Jor. Jor writes, "Good evening, tri-hosts with the most. As of today, February 21st, 2024, I have caught up with Good Morning Night Vale. I've listened to Welcome Night Vale on and off through the years, as my brain tends to like batching multiple episodes at a time. I stopped listening for a while after The Broadcaster, which was at that point in time the most recent episode out, because the thought of Cecil forgetting Carlos was so sad. I didn't want to possibly continue further into Night Vale, where this was the new reality. In late 2021, my husband asked if I had listened to one of the most recent episodes about a character named Silas. His enthusiasm and certainty that I should listen to that episode got me to pick up where I left off, making my way to Silas the Thief Part 1, which was exactly the sort of mindfuck with a twist that I didn't even know I needed. Silas pulled me back into Night Vale, which led me to reading The Faceless Old Woman Who Secretly Lives in Your Home book while recovering from burnout. I think about what I've learned from the book and how it has helped me conceptualize living with chronic pain and or disability often. The book pulled me into the idea of re-listening to both Night Vale podcasts again from the beginning. Listening to the three of you talk about food, Night Vale, and all sorts of other things, it has been 0 days, has brought so much of joy to my life. Your friendships with each other and the guest hosts are wonderful reminders that there are still some good things in this world, even when this world does not seem very good. And not just y'all, but the other listeners too. I love hearing y'all read the FanZone Calzone messages. Sometimes I find myself tearing up over the heartfelt messages of fellow fans and hoping they know how appreciated they are for sharing their thoughts. I smile at each mind cannon and feel happy to exist at this point in time at the specific iteration of Night Vale with all of you. My podcatcher tells me that 210, 10 years later, is the most recent episode of Welcome to Night Vale that I've listened to. I'm excited to continue listening to both Night Vales together and looking forward to the new to me episodes of Welcome to Night Vale that I'll get to hear and then immediately listen to y'all's recaps. Because even if the episodes have more sad, scary subjects like Cecil forgetting Carlos, it'll be easier to bear with the tri-hosts and a delicious FanZone Calzone. Thank you all so very much, Jor."
Aww. Jor. Thank you. That is so sweet. I love knowing that there are people out there who are listening along with us and excited to see where things go and trust us to be in their headphones or on their radio or wherever you listen to our screeches. It really makes me feel good because, I mean, we're just friends talking about stuff we love, and I feel so fortunate to be able to do that and to know that there's other people out there who love what we do and love this subject, talking about Night Vale and talking about food and just listening to these three weird friends talk about stuff is really exciting. So thanks so much. And thanks to everybody else who listens to our episodes, writes in, sends us messages, all of that. Our next episode is Silas the Thief, Part 2. Until then, good morning, Night Vale. Good morning.
Good Morning Night Vale is a Night Vale Presents production. It is hosted by Symphony Sanders, Meg Bashwiner, and Hal Lublin. It is edited by Felicia Dominguez and mixed by Vincent Cacchione. It is produced by Meg Bashwiner. Theme music by Disparition. Email us at info@goodmorningnightVale.com to share your theories and ask questions, or to tell us who your cat really is. This show is powered by our patrons like Celia, Chris Brose, Calibri, Christopher Nix, and Crow. If you are interested in supporting the show in exchange for lots of fun, exclusive, insider, hyper cool kid content, check us out at patreon.com/goodmorningnightVale. For more info on this show, go to goodmorningnightVale.com. Special thanks to Joella Knapp, Jeffrey Craner, Bree Williams, and Joseph Fink. The calzone ingredient of the week is Mother Fink's pizza sauce.
I'm not giving up. I am selling the building.
The final season of FX's The Bear.
The restaurant is flooded.
Everything's either gonna be okay.
No, stop!
Or not.
We are outgunned and we are outmanned, but we have each other.
FX's The Bear, the final season. All episodes now streaming on Disney+.
At ZocDoc, we know being a healthy adult is like living in a video game. Every day has side quests, taxes, laundry, birthdays, and just when you're leveling up, you have to book a doctor. The insurance portal crashes, they put you on hold, your doctor doesn't take your plan, game over. We see you, so we made booking a doctor easy. Download ZocDoc, search by specialty, insurance, and availability. Book instantly, no cheat codes required. Find a doctor you love with ZocDoc.